Okay, so we're going to go back to Starlog 4, version 4. This time we're going to program a Hydrologger 2001. So we're going to select firstly our site, so version 4 scheme, and I've selected one here which is just a straight Hydrologger 2001 LCD measuring stage. Double click on that, and we then need to check our connection, which we can go to our device manager here, and we can see I've got a keyspan USB on COM port 2. So we select COM port 2, connect to our logger, and then we can program our logger. That always comes up with a warning saying that sort of erase all the data on the logger. So if this is a pre-existing site and logger that's been recording, you need to download a logger always before you reprogram it, or you lose all your data. So you can see it's now programming the scheme here. It's checking the battery voltage, loading the logger program, and now it's finished. So we can OK that, and back to test mode at this point. You can see it's connected to site 74338. The current time, it's got a 5-minute log rate, log size, when the memory expires and how much memory is used, which is obviously none now. So, but you can see it's reading 0 because we haven't set up our stage to match. So if we change our encoder pulley to the river level, so we set our encoder up to our primary reference gauge. You can see now we have a depth of 1.472 meters, a battery voltage of 12.47, and there's no values yet, of course, in the data, but the next logger time will be 8:25. So in 3 minutes time we'll get our first reading, which will come into here. You can see now that the time's nearly coming up to 8:25, which will be our first reading, 5-minute interval. And we'll see the stage value of 1.472. Come up below. So here we go. Stage, date and time, and it also has the first log value, propagates up above here. So the other thing we can do here is we can put an offset. So this is obviously the raw value. It may be if it's a bubbler, raw value in the river, and we may want to match our staff gauge. So we can put an offset in here. So we want to add 1 meter. We can add 1 meter there, or 1,000 millimeters, and then that will be added to the stage. So we've got 2.472, where the raw value is 1.472. So that's how we match our staff gauge reading in the river. Of course, with an encoder like this site, we can always match it directly. So that can go back to 0. And then that'll drop back off at the next scan. There we go, matching again. Okay, so another thing we can do is go into the scheme editor if we want to have a look at what the scheme looks like. And if we go under instruments, we can see here that it's been loaded. We've got a micrologger or hydrologger, a unidata encoder connected to it, external power supply, and an embedded scheme. So by clicking on the encoder, it comes up with the type of encoder we're using, the depth, the labels we can set, the input channels, wheel size or pulley size at the back, the power supply. It's just very generic what's being logged, and we're using an SDI 12 sensor in this case. So we can build our programs here. So if we look at another demonstration, you'll see how to build one from scratch. But the other thing we can do is if we look at log buffer, and here you'll see we can set the log interval. So in this case it's on 5 minutes. We can make that 1 minute. And we can also tell it what we want to record. So in this case it has only been recording stage, but let's record battery voltage as well. And you can also do mins, maxes and totals and averaging, but we tend to just do raw in a case like this. And so we're going to 1 minute logging and record both at this stage. So we need to come out of here, and when you close it'll ask you to save it, or you can hit save button here. It's been saved. You can close the editor. But in this case we need to go back and reprogram the logger because we've changed what we want it to do. Again, it's going to erase the data. New program being loaded. So that's done. You see there's no readings yet. It's still primed. It's starting to log. This time we have a 60-second log rate. And it's going to be just under a minute away. And there we have the stage, and this time battery being logged as well. And if we wait 1 more minute, so the interval's now 60 seconds, it'll be logged again. If I change the stage, let's see if we see a different stage. So it's gone to 1580. Yep, it's moving. 1558. Next reading, so the stage has changed, volt's still the same. So this is a good way if you want to change the log rate if you're doing a lot of testing, so you're getting quick results, lots being logged, but change it back to maybe 5 minutes, which is a standard interval for general site purposes.